Hello. So before I get started, I'd like to say that this is more observation based versus, say, a critique, as I understand that businesses sell goods and services at end of day, and that's how they stay afloat. But I would just say that within recent, I've seen a lot more just different organizations that are just cropping up and just selling, say, I guess it's more just like selling experiences more or less and just takeaways from that and just learning more about it. For example, there's been a lot more businesses popping up in, say, big cities where it's like get dinner with five complete strangers, and how that would work is that you take, say, like a questionnaire, you fill out questions about yourself, hopefully connect with other people, and then you'd get matched in sort of a matchmaker type way with different people. And for that, it's not, say, like a dating type service, it's more just meet complete strangers and hopefully find connection for friendship or otherwise there. That's really interesting to me. I feel like I would feel so bad if I just signed up for that and I ended up spending like, say, like $100 just to not connect with anyone at end of day. And I would say that there's like different other ones where, if I remember correctly, it was called like Matchbox in particular, where they take a similar concept or like a derivation of it, where instead it's approaching dating now. And what that looks like is that this time around, it's you answer a bunch of questions, and algorithmically, it would match you to somebody else who's attending, say, an event in particular. And it's that this isn't revealed to you until the end of an event in particular. So it's meant for you to socialize and mingle with other people until the end of the event, where it's revealed who you might have matched with. And it's not more so saying that you should go up to this person. It's more like, oh, this is your match versus the people who you might have hung out with or stuck around for during the night. I'd say for this, it's like a lot of these different experiences as a whole have been coming up and cropping up within recent. And I think for me, it's just trying to find different ones versus, say, spending money on just like food or stuff like that. Because I think a lot of it has been commoditized where it's like, let's catch up with a friend. And it's like, okay, do you want like try out a new restaurant or like something that costs money one way or another? And I think it's like something that I've accepted to an extent. Not that there aren't free alternatives, but a lot of it is more, say, like a good or service or trying out a new experience at pop up or one thing one way or another. But I would say that a lot of things have felt more like commoditized here and there in terms of like try out this new experience, try out this new thing, try this other thing out versus, say, I think for me, I've grown to value a lot more of the friendships where it's just like, say, crash on someone's couch conveniently behind me, where it's just like you just yap and just talk about whatever you've been up to, or someone's just like doing chores, or just like you're running errands together, or different things all together. It's not that you're not able to do that, it's just that I feel like a lot of it has been more focused on just like doing different fun activities or different things that cost a bunch of money versus, say, more like no frills, like low cost ones altogether, and how you make of that in terms of things. I would say it's not that you're unable to, but it's just that it just doesn't feel as accessible sometimes. But I would say that, having said that, there's different options in the local community. Some examples would be, say, volunteering or window shop, which still contributes to what I'm talking about, but it's just like you're just spending time with another person without necessarily intent to purchase stuff. But I think from there, it's also looking at, let's see, local libraries, local establishments, in addition to different things, and investing how you find fit. But I would say being able to try to find like these different community spaces where you can just like sort of exist there and just sort of like do your own thing. So I remember in New York City where I used to live, there were entities called like privately owned public spaces or POPs as a whole. And what that looked like would be, say, it's like a nearby park that's like privately owned, or like a office building type setting where it's just like you can sort of just do your own thing and just like hang out there without it being like considered, say, like loitering one way or another. And I think it's that a lot of this reminds me of just like a video I saw where I think I was still of that age where it's that people would still hang out in malls of sorts. But this one was a video shot in more like the 90s in the suburbs of Illinois. And it had people doing street interviews of asking, like, young, asking teenagers just, what are you here at the mall for? And they're just like, oh, I'm here to eat cute boys, or I'm here to like meet girls, or different things at that time being. And I think what has changed since, it's that a lot of things have been more just like online now, and it's just like a lot different in terms of what the environment looks like. I would say for that parallel, or just like what I talked about before, it's more just observing that in terms of more like maybe it's a generational thing due to how there's more like readily accessible like smart devices and other things now, and what you could be doing in person you can also be doing online to an extent, or just like hang out with people without the necessary just like face-to-face element to it. But I'd say I'd prefer the more face-to-face as a whole, as I've just been mentally and physically just like trying to touch grass and actually do stuff and get involved in my community a lot more. I'd say, riffing off of that, it's just that there's, I would say there are privately owned public spaces in different cities, but I'd say you have to make a deliberate choice to just like try to find those and just like try to do those all together. Because I've been able to find different ones where they might partner up with, say, like meetups or different organizations, or it's that it might support like a business at end of day, where businesses are there to make money at end of day, where they might partner up with some organization such as, say, like it's a language exchange, or it's a board game night, or a different function altogether, say like book swap or ones just mentioned. And while there's not an incentive to spend money, it's that I just do it so that you're supporting the local business, so that the people who are hosting are still able to host, and that the businesses are also receiving just like the benefits of that. I'd say it's just like takeaways from this has just been seeing that there's been a sudden, I wouldn't even necessarily say sudden, but there's been just like a shift overall where a lot of it feels more commoditized now, where you have to like spend money to have fun, but just not having to feel pressure to do that. Just like you're also able to just like window shop and not participate and spend a bunch of money doing a bunch of things and still do a lot more like low cost ones or like low stakes ones. As I'd say, I've been able to live in Chicago for pretty cheap, but I'd say what that looks like is not always trying to like try out all the expensive like pop-ups or all the different things, and just try to see like which ones are relevant to me, which ones might just be like me. Let me try to see how to best phrase. I'd say just like which ones stand out to me as more authentic experiences versus ones where it's just to post up on social media or just to say that you might have done it one way or another, and just be more proactive in that. But I would say that this has been a bunch of yapping about, I'd say, just different ways people have been finding community, and just whole bits about it here and there. But yeah, I think it's just all I have for this video, but thank you so much if you listened all the way here, and I hope you have a good one. And as always, don't be awesome.